In the early 2000s, long before social media could spin virality into gold, Mel Gibson embarked on a cinematic crusade that would nearly destroy his career, and yet ultimately define it. The Passion of the Christ, 2004, remains one of the most controversial, financially successful, and mystifying productions in modern Hollywood history. But behind the epic brutality and haunting Aramaic chants lies a story riddled with near-death experiences, ancient prophecies, coded messages, Hollywood sabotage, and the unraveling of a man consumed by faith, madness, or perhaps something more. This is not the version of the Passion you saw in theaters. This is the hidden gospel behind its making, the prophecy and the vision. Few know this, but Mel Gibson claimed to have had a series of vivid dreams that directly inspired the Passion of the Christ. In interviews long buried or dismissed, Gibson referred cryptically to visions that came to him during bouts of insomnia following the events of September 11th. One such account tells of Gibson waking in a cold sweat in his Malibu home after dreaming of a crucifix floating in a pool of blood, with an indistinct voice repeating, "They have forgotten." Days later, Gibson began obsessively rereading the Gospels and the writings of 19th century stigmatic Anne Catherine Emmerich, whose The Dolorous Passion of Our Lord Jesus Christ would become a key and controversial inspiration for the film. Even more bizarre, one of Gibson's researchers reported that Emmerich's writings described a scene, a soldier dislocating Christ's shoulder before the crucifixion, that was never canonized in any official gospel, but matched precisely with forensic analysis from the Shroud of Turin, which wasn't even widely available when Emmerich wrote her visions. Was this a coincidence? Divine guidance? Or meticulous religious scholarship disguised as mysticism? The curse on set. If the Passion was a holy mission, it was one cursed from the start. Jim Caviezel, the actor who played Jesus, endured unimaginable physical punishment during filming. He was accidentally whipped twice, struck by lightning during the Sermon on the Mount scene, and dislocated his shoulder while carrying the 150-pound cross. Temperatures dropped to near freezing levels during the crucifixion sequences, leaving Caviezel with hypothermia and pneumonia. But the strangest part? He asked for it. Caviezel insisted on doing his own stunts. He wanted to experience the suffering as closely as a man can without dying. He refused to use a safe word during the scourging scenes, where Roman whips were embedded with metal. And he instructed the stunt coordinators to make the lashes look real, even if it meant pain. A crew member who worked on the film anonymously told a journalist in 2005 that during one night shoot, Caviezel stared into the distance between takes and whispered, "He's watching us." When asked who he meant, he only responded, "You'll know when it's finished." The Vatican, the devil, and the silence. Though it has never been officially confirmed, multiple insiders allege that Gibson screened an early cut of The Passion of the Christ in a secret meeting with Pope John Paul II. The alleged Vatican screening reportedly occurred in late 2003, and though many deny it happened, Gibson swore under oath in a later legal dispute that certain Vatican officials did attend a pre-release screening. What was confirmed is that John Paul II, when asked his thoughts, allegedly said in Latin, "It is as it was." A powerful and ambiguous endorsement, one that the Vatican press office would later try to distance itself from. Meanwhile, dark rumors swirled about sabotage attempts on the film's production. Equipment mysteriously malfunctioned. Security guards quit after hearing chanting during all-night edits in a Santa Monica post-production house. One editor even claimed their hard drive containing final audio tracks was wiped clean, without explanation, days before mastering. And then came the accusations from the press. Claims of anti-Semitism, ultra-violence, religious propaganda. The film's distributor, Newmarket Films, was even blacklisted by several Hollywood studios. But none of it stopped the film. Blood money and box office miracles. On a budget of $30 million, Financed entirely by Gibson's own money, the film went on to gross over $612 million worldwide. No major studio wanted it. No mainstream marketing campaign was run. Churches across the country organized private screenings. Entire congregations bought out theaters. But the money trail tells another story. An anonymous Vatican finance official in a 2006 interview suggested that a portion of the profits was quietly funneled into rebuilding efforts for Eastern Orthodox churches in war-torn parts of Serbia and Armenia, regions historically persecuted for their Christian heritage. Gibson himself never spoke publicly about these alleged donations. But leaked IRS documents from the late 2000s show that several charities with vague religious names received multi-million-dollar grants originating from one of Gibson's production companies, Icon Productions. The aftermath and the sequel that waits. The Passion of the Christ didn't just reshape Mel Gibson's career, it nearly obliterated it. The years following the release were riddled with scandals, leaked audio, DUIs, and a tabloid frenzy. Some called it karma. Others believed he had invoked something too powerful to control. But quietly, in the shadows of scandal, Gibson began researching a sequel, The Resurrection. Unlike the first film, this one would delve not only into Christ's rising, but into the 3 days in hell that the Bible only cryptically mentions. The actor Jim Caviezel confirmed in 2021 that the script had gone through several versions, with references to spiritual warfare on a cosmic level. Rumors suggest the film would depict Lucifer walking in human form and scenes from the Book of Enoch, which describes angels imprisoned beneath the earth and giants bred between humans and the divine. Production has been delayed multiple times. Some say it's for financing. Others whisper that the script contains elements too heretical for mainstream Christianity, too radical for Hollywood, and possibly too real. The Passion Legacy. Whether you see the Passion of the Christ as a transcendent act of faith or a calculated, violent provocation, there's no denying it exists in a category all its own. Mel Gibson did not just make a film. He conducted a ritual. He reignited ancient debates. He bled for it. And he may yet return to finish what he started, on a scale far beyond what anyone expects. If you believe the whispers, and if you're willing to look beneath the blood, the nails, and the cross. He's watching us. The Passion of the Christ was just the beginning. If this behind-the-scenes journey into the untold story of the Passion of the Christ gripped your soul and opened your eyes to the hidden layers of faith, filmmaking, and mystery, don't keep it to yourself. Help us shine a light on more real-life journeys behind the veil of history by hitting that like button, subscribing to Daily Bread Network, and sharing this video with others hungry for truth beyond the surface. There's so much more waiting to be uncovered, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.